Hi there, it's Clint again, and I'm taking just a few seconds, hopefully, to show you how to use a C-SDK sample. We had somebody who was interested in seeing what it takes to run the sample HTTP link program, and so here I am, and I will show you how to do that. First thing we're going to need to do is install everything and get an entire ziti environment up and running. I'm going to assume that you've already done that. Next thing we'll want to do is we'll want to make an identity that will represent the HTTP bin server, and then we'll need to make an identity which represents the HTTP bin client. Once we've done those two things, well, now we need to enroll both of those devices. Let's just go ahead and enroll them. And then once we've enrolled them, now we're going to need to create a configuration for the host client. Since this is a C-SDK sample and we are putting our trust directly into our own application, we don't necessarily need an intercept v1, but we do need a host v1 because on the far side of this, I'm going to be running a ziti tunneler. So let's make a configuration that exposes httpbin.org to some service. Now we need a service, and again, since it is host only, we're going to make a service and give it one configuration to reference. Great. Doing that is worthless if we don't have a bind policy. This bind policy will allow any endpoint that has the httpbin-serverEndpoints attribute, which you can see we used up here, to be able to bind that particular service. Now we need to give the ability for any service to be able to dial it. So we'll give our identities with the httpbin-clientEndpoints the ability to dial that particular service. And that's all the configuration that we should need to do. Now what we'll do is I've already downloaded a ziti edge tunnel. We'll run the ziti edge tunnel. We'll give it the httpbin.server.jwt file name. And we'll run it as sudo. And then you'll see that that is now running. Great. What I'll do in my local environment is I'll change to my personal temp directory. I will scp from my AWS machine the httpbin.client. I don't need the JSON, or I don't need the JWT, I just need the JSON. Now I'm going to go over to CLion. I'm going to edit my debug configuration. I'm going to give it one program argument of the file location, because you can see the first argument is the name of the file that we want to run, and now we'll debug our program. And assuming it compiles and everything runs, we should see something from the other side. So this was offloaded all the way at the other end. If I were to turn off my tunneler, you'll see this application no longer succeeds. Go ahead and run it. And now we'll get an error. It should say something like no terminators. I have a breakpoint, so we'll ignore that breakpoint. Okay, we'll try to ignore the breakpoint. There we go. And it says failed to connect no terminators. That's what we expect. Turn the tunnel back on. Try it one more time just to prove it. This time it should, of course, succeed. And bam. There you go. So that's how you would use the sample HTTP link in C using, in this case, I'm using CLion, but whatever editor you're using. That's all for now. Bye-bye.